Hello and thank you for joining us on the Tuesday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzubakum. Today on the program, Nigeria records 288 fresh COVID-19 cases, the lowest number in 2 months, as total infections hit 44,129. TCN achieves highest ever peak electricity wheeling of 5,377 megawatts. And later on the show, 24 years after, Nigerians relish how the country conquered the world to win the Atlanta 1996 Olympic soccer gold medal. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Charles Ideho, and Dotun Oladipo will be joining us via Skype, and later Musba Razak will join us for sports. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. Thank you for joining us. The coronavirus infection keeps increasing daily. The Nigerian Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has announced 288 new cases of the virus, pushing the total number of infection to 44,129. The agency says with 8 new deaths reported, the total number of fatalities is now 896. 288 cases in Lagos. This is good news. There appears to be decline, especially in Lagos.
Yes, and
in the last how many months?
Across the country, by recording a decline in new cases. Before the 288 that was recorded on Monday, we had 304, 386, 462, 481.
Are we flattening the curve?
Respectively. No, I can't say that at this stage, because even the minister has warned that we should not read any meaning to the COVID-19 data from Nigeria at this stage. But when you imagine that Lagos is the epicenter of the thing, and Lagos has undoubtedly set the right example in terms of testing and management of COVID-19 cases, and the Lagos people, the government of Lagos, with Babajide Sanwo-Olu at the wheel, is confirming that it is going down in Lagos considerably. That suggests something. It suggests that it is going down. And when you see, it's just not Lagos. Across the country, it appears to be tapering down. But at the same time, the Ministry of Health is warning through the minister that there will be new cases in the rural centers. So we have to be careful. By allowing people to travel these days, it means a lot of them will go home for maybe parties and other things. People that they had missed, they will go and mingle with them. There will be new infections in the rural areas. So that is the warning, because every time you ease things up, it comes with some negative things that you don't want to see will happen, like infections, new infections, and all that. So we are easing things up, and there will be implications of that in the final analysis. So it's good news. I want to believe that it will continue to go down based on the efforts that we are making. So, and that's what we want to see.
Okay, Charles. The Lagos State government, Lagos and Ogun State governments said they've opened worship centers, so we can hold our hands in one accord on Sunday and roll out the drums.
And raise up holy hands. Yes, and also lift up holy hands.
Yes.
Yes, I think because a lot of people, there have been politics that in that issue of churches being shut down. And why would churches be shut down when markets that do not have people control, people mingling together, people backslapping, people hugging each other, and then people are not dropping dead. Churches and mosques that could easily respect the NCDC code, that they are kept under lock and key. So that politics have been there, but hopefully that they have seen that the numbers are coming down because of the efforts of the NCDC. You recall that since that first index case happened on the 27th of February 2020, the Honorable Minister actually set up, the ministry set up what they call the multi-sectorial national emergency operations center at level 3, which of course is the highest level of response in the country for public emergencies so far, which is of course it's applaudable. So now that we have done that, and then there have been concerted effort, collaborations by state government, by all tiers of government, you can see that even that number is reducing. We are also in the news that even Lagos is also thinking of closing down some of its centers, so which of course is good news. If you even look at it, we have done well, even though the number of deaths, I know that of course most of them they are all loved ones. If you look at the active global case of about 18.2 million or 18.2 million, South Africa accounting for 511,488, the fifth in the world, and Egypt 94,048. So I think that should be the fifth in the world. Nigeria is not doing badly. If you look at even what we are doing here, so I think what we have done, what the NCDC need to do, is to sustain the effort we are under so that we can achieve the result we have achieved so far. So it's good news to all of us, good news to the government, good news to the churches, good news to the mosques, good news to us, because on Sunday we are going to be lifting up holy hands, as I said, so that we can have our lives back, and businesses can now try, and then we can have a country that we can be proud to have, do our business and be happy. Ayo.
Yes, they were talking about, that's Deji. The Lagos State government was talking about from 20 now to 50, but most churches that we have in Lagos and Ogun Axis have taken time. Some of these halls, some of them can, manage capacity of 50,000, 70,000. How many services will they be doing that they can give the maximum to 50? As at a church that is like 50,000 congregation there per Sunday, to maintain the 2-meter social distancing and all the protocols. Deji, are you there?
Dotun.
Abi Dotun?
Yes, Dotun is here.
Okay, Dotun, please go ahead.
The truth is that the concern about churches and probably the mosque is this our belief, very, very solid belief that there is healing in the church. Yours can do anything. Why are you afraid of COVID-19 when you have a God who is more than COVID-19? And as such, that it is likely that the attitude of people in the churches and the mosques will be quite different from what we witness in the marketplaces. Those who have been arguing on the churches being better organized than the markets, that is where the argument of government lies. And that is where my own fear also lies. Because we so believe in the things that we read without putting part of the works that we should put into it. We believe so much in religion than even those who introduced it to us. The Pope, in so many months now, has not mixed with the congregation. He has been having his masses from the window. No congregation. And that is based on the fact that, look, when you have a huge worship place, there are so many of them around without mentioning names. We know them. And then you are trying to manage space. How do you control the crowd that will come? I believe the churches will also be able to work out a few things. That's my belief. But if we don't, I see us going back to where we are coming from. There'll be a spike in the future. That's my fear.
Jide?
Sorry, can I respond to that, Ayo? Sorry, before Jide comes.
Okay.
Hello, Ayo.
All right, do that quickly.
I disagree with Dotun, because if, for instance, for a number of months we have had marketplaces, people who are mingling together and have been able to sustain this number. Why are you thinking that people who can even easily maintain social distancing, we're going to have a spike in the number? So I disagree with you on this, Dotun.
All right,
Maybe you didn't get my point there. I'm saying that
Yes,
what
sir.
we need to do,
okay, Datu,
if
don't
we are not
worry.
going to have a fight,
Don't worry. Let me take
is to
this
be able to
intervention.
control.
The argument that seeks to compare marketplaces with churches is not a valid one. Churches are enclosed areas, and because they are enclosed, the rate of transmission is a lot easier than marketplaces. That is the argument. That is the argument. When I go to buy stuff from you, I don't relate with you the way I relate with a fellow church member. You know how we hug each other, especially that I've not seen for a long time. Yes. You know, I don't need to hug you. Sell that fish to me, I pick it, I walk away.
Yeah.
I don't even need to smile at you. You know, so that's the thing. They are saying that markets are not
church members.
They are not
like
enclosed areas.
Extended families.
Yes, they are not enclosed areas. So dissipation is easier than when you have an enclosed area. You are singing. Why are they saying, okay, in a hall, don't stay more than 1 hour? Even this is the thing. Some pastors have been talking about this market. I don't think it's a valid argument. And the good thing is that even now that they have said churches can open, we've seen some pastors even advise that they should not go there. We've seen imams, when they told them that, they said no. Because they told them now, they said they must do the ablution from home. It's difficult. So some of them, those clerks are saying, no, we'd rather stay at home.
Do your ablution from home, and something they do very close to the mosque outside.
Yes, because they don't want people to exchange these kettles and all that. Okay. That's why they are saying, do it from home. You know, so and a lot of them are saying, no, we'd rather stay at home. So it's all in the bid to save souls. It's not meant to punish anyone. And as we have said, in other countries of the world, this thing, ban on worship centers, closure of worship centers, is still on. I remember when Trump tried to play the religious card and he said, let us open, let's Donnie McClurkin and some other big pastor said, no, we will not open. Some
churches in Chicago now, they are carrying out a kind of online survey. Should we open or not? They're telling members to vote, and so that they will know the modalities.
I know that our people have faced, our governors have faced tremendous pressure.
Yes,
we are just hoping.
From religious leaders.
The worst that these pastors can do is to not follow the protocol, because it has always been their fear that, look, if we allow things, will they obey?
Yes, somebody
in a country where people find it difficult to wear their mask.
A pastor said Holy Ghost fire will attack anybody that attempt to close the church again.
Did you not see the video of a pastor that they went to who was serving service, and they went there to sack him, and he was saying that he does not even believe that. They say, which government? He said he does not even believe in that government. It's the government above that he believes.
But
so
maybe it should be
chances are that even these protocols will not be obeyed fully. That is the danger. The danger in it. Because when you in any case, many of our people don't even believe. And we've had some pastors even describe it as a mere fever that will soon disappear. You know? So such people, will they obey fully? That is the fear.
Secondary schools, some secondary schools are said to be opening today.
Yes.
Were we sufficiently prepared?
You know, I think that we are not prepared sufficiently for this. Look at what happened in Ogun State when parents were told to first go and do a test at the cost of 25,000 per child before they can be admitted into school. So if you look at the number of exit students compared to when the exams will happen, you will see that it is impossible, and given the limited points where you can do tests in that state, there is no way that all of those children can finish the test before even the exams begin. So the governor has now had to say, okay, we are waiving that stipulation that the children must do tests before the gates of the schools can be opened to them. So now it's up to the school authorities to ensure that at least the routine of washing hands and all that things happen, but no more test. Test is no longer compulsory for them because it's just not practicable for all of them to be able to do. And to do the test. And this kind of test, you've taken it before. It's not what you just do and they will give you a result instantly.
No.
So we still have to wait. So if we have to do it, up to half of those students may not even be able to do.
To resume on the 18th,
yes. So that's why if it had been well thought out, they would not have come up with the idea.
Still to come, TCN achieves highest ever electricity wheeling of 5,377 megawatts. Stay with us. We'll be right back after this time out. Thank you for joining us. This is Journalist Tanga. We're reaching you live from TVC News here in Lagos. It is said that beating an opponent is good, but surpassing an achievement is even better. The transmission company of Nigeria has surpassed its 2019 record, rising to 5,377 megawatts peak power generation, a feat it attains 18 months after the previous record. Is this good enough? Jide, let me start from you quickly here. Now, what's the meaning of this? From the little knowledge I have about this thing, yes, we might be counting the 5,000 something, but from what I've gathered, sometimes it is inconsequential. As in, what's the point of 5,377 if you are not able to wheel them out and transmit and distribute them effectively?
Yes, the generating companies have a big capacity to generate. There has been tremendous investment in that sector. Now,
the Gencos.
But it is not everything that's generated that TCN can wheel because of its old infrastructure. This government has done well. They've been trying to freshen up the national grid, changing transmission lines across the country and all that. Some of them, no real investment had happened in that sector for more than 40 years. So you have a situation in which TCN cannot take all of what is generated. They can only take some of it. The capacity, if for example, let's say the Gencos, as they continue to invest in the generating companies, let's say the Gencos can reach a generating capacity of 18,000. I'm just using that as an illustration. Today, TCN had been struggling just to wheel 5,000. And any time they do it, it usually doesn't even last more than 24 hours. The last one, you can see that this is just a marginal increase over 5,373. You are now talking of 5,377. So the capacity to wheel is hampered by poor infrastructure and all that. So this is the power value chain has to be integrated in such a way that if I can generate 10,000 megawatts, the transmission company, should be able to transmit 10,000 megawatts.
Not anything lower.
Not lower. The distribution leg, should be able to distribute 10,000 as well. But what we have is the disproportionate capacity across the value chain, which is not helping anybody.
Don't have that capacity. So
I've always said that the TCN is the weakest link. Consistently I've been saying.
The good news of this 5,377 is that TCN
at least there's an improvement.
TCN might not be able to transmit all.
No.
Okay.
This is not. Gencos will have. Gencos will have generated more than this. But the highest that they have been able to wheel out from what TCN is generated.
Okay. From what the Gencos?
Yes.
From all the Genco is bringing to.
It is, the Gencos, for example, have a capacity for 13,000 megawatts.
But the TCN can only do these figures.
They cannot go beyond
5,377.
which is way below what those guys have generated.
And TCN is being managed by the government.
Yes, that is the leg of the power, whatever that is totally in the hands of government. Others have been privatized, but government holds 40% shares in both the discos and the gencos. So, but transmission is still wholly run by government, and that is the weak link. They may not like it when you say it, but that is the weak link, because the gencos can do 13,000 capacity. Even Siemens, when they came in, Siemens also conducted a research that showed that it is the TCN capacity that is lowest. You know, you understand? So to even wheel 5,000 on a consistent basis, there are days when they always struggle to do 3,000, 3,001. You know, either there are gas constraint or other problems.
Charles, is this a kind of good news that, well, we're almost getting there? 5,377.
Anyway, we're not getting anywhere.
Okay.
I'm sorry that I have to be pessimistic, but when you look at the figures on ground, you know, from between 2016 and now, the number have been oscillating between 5,074.7. Then that's 2016. 2017, you have 5,155.9, and then till now. So what I think, just like Gide said, the TCN is the albatross in the power sector conglomerate, because you have the obsolete equipment, obsolete infrastructure. Because if you are able to generate 13,000 megawatts, as he said, then you are able to transmit just about 5,000. Then there's a problem. So, and a lot of energy is being wasted. So I think government is either government to hands off from TCN, either to also privatize it and let the private sector that have the wherewithal, that have the technical ability, where you have a reduced corruption level. I think we should be able to get out of this quagmire. But if government continues to hold on to TCN, I tell you why, the figure will never. This is not this is not a prophecy. Government may never rise beyond 6,000. I mean, because what actually responsible for the growth now is because of the TCN that developed the transmission, rehabilitation, and expansion program, which of course it was supposed to enable it to prioritize and execute critical transmission projects. But because that TCN, because of corruption, and you have as I said earlier, obsolete equipment. If they're able to, government is able to leave this thing in the hands of the public sector, that's where we can say Eureka indeed.
Okay, let me go to Dotu now. Dotu, why do you think the government is holding on to the transmission company of Nigeria? Some will say national security, some will just cite a lot of things. Why do you think the government is interested, as at the time they were privatizing all other companies?
Well, I think for me, there could be two reasons. One will be the fear. Number two is that we shouldn't forget that we are also giving power to some other countries.
Okay.
So if the way things are handled, if things are not done properly, there could be some problems. Some have complained about the power we are giving to other countries. I completely agree, because indeed we don't have enough yet in the country, and we are
big brother outside,
who are not even paying us when they should, who are owing us as we speak now. So it's a combination of, look, let's hold on to something, even if we are privatizing a part of it. But I think we should, at this point, let's go. Let those who can handle it, who can do the business, let them do it. When NITA was solely in the hands of government, we knew what we faced in the country. Some others have come in, and now here we are. And despite the fact that some private investors have done what we can clearly see are adequate measures that have given us something to cheer in the telecom sector. See where NITEL is today. It still can't follow in the footsteps of those who are setting the pace. Nigeria Airways is nowhere today. And I'm sure if I mean, it's done privately now, it will succeed. So I think we should sit down, take a holistic look at what is happening in the power sector, both for the transmission and the generation, because we really need to look at that and come to a point where we can agree, look, this is the way forward. We really need it
should
now.
Should government let go of this transmission company of Nigeria for efficiency? They cited what is happening in the telecom sector, and these companies under private businessmen, they are doing well.
I would prefer a kind of public-private model whereby the company is not wholly owned by government. You can get, they can even get some of his shares sold to those who can afford it. Something similar to what the Brazilians did with their oil company. So, and on the day that the Brazilians chose to sell the shares of their oil company, it was oversubscribed. You know, it has not totally solved the problem, but it will go a long way. You'll be able to find the needed liquidity, because one of the greatest problems of that sector is lack of liquidity. There is just not enough money to allow the quantum of investment in new equipment and all that to happen. It is we are struggling now to find money to freshen up the grid. I believe that they should continue along that path. But if I have my way, I would want to see a situation in which the TCN is owned partly by government and private individuals. I believe that if that could happen, there will be greater injection of capital, and it will be far better run than we have at this time. Because the way it is, unless the value chain is integrated, one will continue to lag behind and dragging others back. Because from even the stress report of the TCN, their own stress report, you could see that their capacity to will is below the capacity of the generating companies to generate, and below the capacity of the distribution companies to distribute. So I believe that there's a lot of hard work that we still need to do with the transmission grid in terms of changing those old transmission lines, buying new ones, and generally investing in that sector. They've done well. I have to praise this government. They've done well. Right from when Fashola was there, they've done well to invest in that sector. But the investment has to be sustained over a long haul. It is when we do that, that even the capacity to will become greater. What are we celebrating? South Africa has capacity to do 40,000, largely from coal. So we rely so much on gas.
Charles, obviously we don't have the investment to continue to invest on this sector, as in government or these individuals that are in charge of these companies. They can't fund the company to the extent of 9-10 years constant investment to be able to turn the fortune around.
Well, you may not. Well, apart from that, I think there's also corruption in the system. Let me give you an example. During the Obasanjo era, also, we also heard that about no fewer than 759 containers of equipment were brought into Nigeria, and the whole thing were all abandoned at the seaports. It's only within the last 5 years that the TCN have been able to clear no more than 554 of those containers, which of course they distributed to places like Yola, Gula, Katsina, Jos, Dambata, up to Benin and all that, which of course is, I believe, is responsible for this applause we are giving to them. So, but even if you talk about the investment, apart from the fact we said that the government should hands off the TCM, maybe retain about 30% or 20%, what government need to, I think we need to revisit our statute book. That provision, that area which gives government the power that you have to, once you are generating above a certain level, you are required by law to
50 megawatts.
It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't make any logical sense to me personally. Why? Because, for instance, I'm in Benin now. If you allow, those state government will say, okay, they have the capacity to do this, to serve maybe the Benin, Agbo, and the rest of them, allow them. Do not compel them to feed the thing to national grid.
It's a constitutional
issue. National grid, but exactly. So we need to revisit that aspect of our law to ensure. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's exactly what I think.
Charles, what even makes it worse? What even makes it worse that when you now feed what you have generated into the national grid, some of your neighbors may get more. They will get more electricity than you.
That's the politics of the grid.
Yes.
Datu, can we sustain this grid model that we've been using since I was born? I hear of that thing, national grid. Tinubu went to Ikorodu, the Aaron project. They generated power. They did everything. It was told that no, it has to go to the national grid, and it can't come to Lagosian. So it will pass through that national grid, and it will be evenly distributed. Dotun?
Yes, I think what we actually need to do, if you ask me, is to start afresh. The present system we are using, which makes it nationwide, it won't work. In other countries, what we know is that areas are serviced by different companies. So you can decide on where you want to belong to. If, as we are made to believe now, power is being supplied into Lagos from places as far as Delta, as far as Niger State, then it doesn't make sense to me. What will make sense is for us to stop this idea, this national grid. For instance, there was a time Bayelsa was completely cut off. I was told maybe about 8-10 years because they couldn't be fed into the national grid. What is the national grid all about? We sit down and start all over again. Like somebody suggested once. Can we take a few years of reinventing ourselves power-wise? Perhaps 2 years of no power supplied to everybody. And then we forget about this national grid and begin to build our friends. Because whatever you are look, it's just
funny.
Whatever you are doing that you call federal, it must be controlled from Abuja. It must be controlled by one man. It doesn't work.
Thank you, Datu. Thank you for that radical submission. Datu, still to come. 24 years after, Nigeria relished how the country conquered the world to win the Atlanta 1996 Olympic gold soccer medal. We'll be right back after this time out. Please stay with us. Welcome back. It's now 24 years since Nigeria's dream team won the Olympic gold medal in Atlanta 1996 after coming from a goal down twice to defeat Argentina 3-2 in the final of the men's football tournament, becoming the first African country to win football gold medal at the Olympics. 24 years after, Nigerians still celebrate this historical win. Historical moment there. When we started that tournament, did you expect us to come home with the gold medal?
Well, not every Nigerian believe we can win the gold medal of that competition. We started very slowly. And in fact, I think we managed to beat Hungary in our first match, 1-0. But as time goes on, when we defeated Mexico in the quarterfinal, the belief started coming in. And the belief was actually gingered through our victory over Brazil in the semi-final.
Don't forget that we played Brazil the second match.
Yes, we played Brazil in the second match in the group stage, and they beat us by a long goal, scored by a man called Ronaldo de Lima, who is going to become the best footballer in the world twice. The star of the 1998 World Cup and the star of the 2002 World Cup. But at the end of the day, when we met them in the semi-final, they were leading us 3-1. And we thought that was the end. The magic started. That match actually made us believe that we will win the match. We will win the final.
The tournament.
Yes.
Jide, why was the team called the Dream Team?
I would think that it was because the players were largely the best in this tournament, and it was clearly amongst the best right wingers in the world. In the gentleman. So they were the best that we had. They had done well. They had done well in the Nations Cup in 1994. So, and they were still in their prime.
Yeah.
So they felt that at that point we could not put together a team better than that. In fact, many people projected that if we had attended the 1996 African Nations Cup
in South Africa,
we would have won that tournament and retained the Nations Cup that we won in Tunisia. So it was because it was clearly the best. It was similar to the basketball team of America, you know, the first dream team, the one that had Scottie Pippen, had Michael Jordan, you know, and so many fantastic players.
Would you say that's Musba? Would you say that's our greatest achievements in soccer?
Of course it was.
Atlanta 96
gold medal. Of course it was. It was the greatest achievement ever. Don't forget the fact that Ghana laid the foundation the previous Olympics when they won the bronze medal at Barcelona 1992 Olympics. Yeah, okay. Now Nigeria now went further, winning the gold medal, and along the line they beat the best teams in the world. Argentina, Brazil, Mexico. So the Brazilian team we beat in the semi-final went on to win the World Cup about 8 years later. We have the Brazilian team of Roberto Carlos, Ronaldo, Rivaldo, and Bebeto, even Dida.
And coached by
Daniel
Passarella.
Mario Zagallo. Passarella is of Argentina. And we met an Argentine team in the final with the likes of Diego Simeone, the current coach of Atletico Madrid, Claudio Lopez, Ariel Ortega. So they were the best that
they two could put together.
Because don't forget the fact that as at that time, neither Argentina nor Brazil.
I think Javier Zanetti was also in that team.
Yes, in that team. Neither Argentina and Brazil has ever won the Olympic gold medal for football. So for Nigeria to beat them in their prime, it was a great achievement for us.
Was those players expected to be the best in their team, to get into that team as at that time? Because when you look at the likes of, I saw the likes of Taribo West, saw the likes of Sunday Olise, so you know, and you look at the way they fitted into that team as at that time, the selection, and Bonfrejo just took over from Clemens. What's up after the 1994 adventure?
Yeah, Bonfrejo was credited with actually helping West Ham to build the unstoppable 1994 Nations Cup team that triumphed in Tunisia. He was the man behind the scene, and the players loved him tremendously. So he was someone that the players trusted could ensure that we won this. And West Ham built a team that was coming into its prime. So many of them were even within that age bracket. Yes. You had an Amoneke that had played in the All Africa Games. He came out, he became a star after playing in the All African Games, and he got a red card, you know, against Cameroon. So, but it was clear that he was the best left winger that we had. Because yes, he was contesting for that position with Victor Ikpeba, but he was much more difficult to shrug off the ball than Victor. And Victor himself was doing very well in Monaco. Even named the Prince of Monaco. He was playing at the same time in the same team with Klinsmann. They were the twin strike force of Monaco at that time. So this team was particularly very good, made up of players just coming, picking at the right time. And then we went with them to the Olympics, and against expectations, when people felt that they had been defeated, they had been destroyed, they came back, they bounced back, and won that gold.
Who was your favorite player in that tournament? Who was the best
among the Nigerian team?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you can't single out anybody, but the inspirational leadership of Kanu came to fore, especially in the semi-final with those 2 goals. A player with less football skill, less football sense, would not have scored that equalization.
The reason I will give Amokachi an edge was one making the diagonal runs to create space for Yekene to score. So he was full of running.
All over.
He was full of running, and he had the skill to go with it.
Yes.
So
plus his strength.
He was his strength. You look at the goal in the World Cup. He fell down, still managed to get up to slam the ball.
Even the goal against Argentina in that final. Look at the way he lifted the ball. The second goal, the second equalizer. It was an Amokachi with being at the right place at the right time.
The good Nigerian football team was the team that should have gone for the Montreal Olympics.
76.
1976.
Yes, we had Odegbami, we had
very young
picking.
Let's get their list. Let's get their names.
Okay. Shegun Odegbami,
Yes.
Kunle Awesu, Baba Otumami, Adokie Amisimaka.
They were all very
They were
young.
all very young. In fact, Adokie was
1976.
getting out of secondary school, CMS Grammar School, as the SP. They were brilliant, but they are good footballers.
So what happened?
They were good. They just decided to go there.
boycotted the Olympics.
We boycotted the Olympics
Boycotted the Olympics.
because of the apartheid regime in South Africa.
If you had gone ahead for that Olympics.
And AY,
I'm convinced that we could have.
we could have won the gold. And we could have
Very,
won more
very good
gold
team.
in athletics. We have some of the best athletes in the world then. Shouting Israeli was the best jumper in the world. Long jumper in the world then. This lady, Modupe Oshikoya, was one of the best women hurdlers in the world.
And the Belgam sisters.
And the Belgam sisters. They were
Julie
there.
and Bella Belgam.
They were some of the
They had
best.
fantastic.
Fantastic team then. Obisi Anwakwa was at the height of amateur boxing power.
Yes. And he went on to become a Commonwealth
A
champion.
Commonwealth champion.
You know, after he turned professional.
It's new to me.
Yeah, and
This
then-
1976 that you're talking
Those
about
who
is
are
new.
older than
But
us.
for me,
Ayo,
I feel
those who are older than us who saw that team. Who saw that team, coached by Father Tiko. Father Tiko is the
Father Tiko.
longest ever Nigerian foreign coach. He was in Nigeria longer than
Go south.
any other Nigerian foreign coach.
You
And
can
he died-
remember that.
He died, I think, 86 or so.
On the eve of Nigeria boycotting that games, Green Eagles, there's Green Eagles defeated one of the teams they were to beat, and the team went on to win the gold by as much as 5 goals to nothing.
You've had
In
fantastic
Germany.
footballers. If you watched Haruna Ilerika in his prime, you won't be talking about JJ Okocha.
Yes, he was
Because
called
a fantastic
master
dribbler, and he will dribble, he will be moving ahead.
we don't have enough records and them.
No,
You
this
can't go to
is
the internet and
unfortunate.
get these
Those
names.
were the days when
Can-
they sing for footballers.
Can you get a record
They
of
sing for
Belgium
footballers.
sisters?
They sing for them. Haruna Ilerika coming into the field to play for stationery stores. They will be singing. Especially if they are playing against NEPA. That time they say, Haruna, dákun jọ̀wọ́, rọra máa tò wọ́n, dákun jọ̀wọ́, Igwe ló ní ń bẹ̀ ọ́, because Igwe was
the
defender
captain.
for NEPA that time.
Do you know what they call Igwe? 1-2.
We had players.
We had players. Tony Igwe.
I met these days, no, who even goes to watch matches? In those days, I watched Mutiu Adepoju. Who am I? Mutiu ni ó wọlé, Adepoju ni ó wọlé, Mutiu ni ó wọlé. That football was fun in those days. I would, at the risk of being beaten by my dad, I will climb the wall of Ilorin Stadium and be watching match. I will be watching the match as a little boy. I mean, but now the fun is gone.
We sing songs for our school teams. I remember some of the songs. St. Gregory College, when they are coming in.
There's a principal's call.
Principal call. The Gregorians are coming, give them
We
the
don't have
way.
enough time. I hope we'll be able to call you very soon. We need to just put these things together.
It's always
This is
fun.
no,
It's
very,
always
very fun.
Very, very.
I want to thank you, Musba
always
Rasak. So,
Thank you.
first of all, let me thank my first set of girls. That's Charles Ideo. Thank you, IDO, Dr. Oladipo. Thank you for being part of this edition. And Musba, thank you again. And BKO, Wonderful, wonderful.
Thank
BQ
you.
is
Thank you.
is an all-rounder. He started his
course,
career as a sport journalist.
he started. He was the one organizing football competition in Uni Ilorin.
Oh, yes.
Your man here is one of those who discovered one of the best defender in Nigeria. He never played. Unfortunately, that
We
guy.
have to go, Musa.
Douglas. Remember the guy?
We have to go. And that's our package today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch Journalist Hangout on our platform showing on the screen. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. Our feedback channel is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I'm Ayodele Uzubakun. Bye for now and God bless Nigeria.